Okay. Be'ezus Hashem. Today's daf is Masechta Bava Basra, daf Kuf Yud Aleph, and we are beginning from daf Kuf Yud Amud Beis. So we're discussing over here a topic called like this, that if a person's mother dies, let's say he's the only child, okay? And now the question is, how do you know that a son could inherit his mother? Now, where does the mother get property? From her father. She inherited property from her father. And let's say her father was from another Shevet. Let's say she was from Shevet Zvulun and his father was from Shevet Yehuda. So he is a real son, that he's from Shevet Yehuda. And what the Gemara is thinking over here is that a son should never inherit his mother, because the Torah always wanted that the Shvatim, the Torah wanted that the land that you were given for your shevet should remain in your shevet. You shouldn't transfer it. So perhaps the halacha would be, the Gemara thought that perhaps a son should never inherit his mother's property. So the Gemara's question is, hi Steve, we just began, bottom of Kuf Yud Amud Beis. Menoah hani mili, v'ha'ish es imay.
Thank you.
Yeah, v'ha'ish es imay. A man inherits his mother's property. Let's see, his mother had property from her father, which is maybe from another shevet. A man inherits that. So the Gemara's question is, Menoah hani mili. How do we know? So the Gemara's question is twofold. Maybe, how do you know that a son inherits? Maybe the Torah only wanted that a daughter inherits the mother, and the son will inherit the father. Maybe that's the way the Torah likes things. And even if you say a son could inherit his mother, how do you know the son takes precedence over the father? Hi, Sheldon, we just began. So
Right.
There's a question in the Gemara here is like this: when there's a boy and a girl and the father dies, so the boy inherits everything. The girl doesn't inherit anything. How do you know that the Gemara says, first of all, that when a mother dies, and let's say the mother came from a wealthy home, she has property in her name. How do you know that, first of all, that a boy inherits his mother, and that if there's a sister, how do you know that he would take precedence in front of the sister? So the Gemara says like this: the Tanur Rabbanan, the rabbis taught. We go to Kuf Yuda Aleph Amud Eyes. The pasuk says, "V'chol bas yereshes nachlos mimatas b'nei Yisrael." Any daughter has a right to inherit from the two shvatim of b'nei Yisrael. That means that if a daughter, let's say you have a girl, her father's from one shevet, let's say from Shevet Yehuda, and her mother is from Shevet Zvulun. She's going to inherit from not only her father, but she can inherit from her mother. So we see clearly that a daughter inherits the mother. How is it possible that a daughter can inherit from two shvatim? Elazu, this girl, let's say she's the only girl. Her father was from one shevet, and her mother was from another shevet. Umesu, and both parents died. So now she inherits. She has property that really came from two shvatim. So now we see clearly a daughter inherits the mother. We only know a daughter inherits the mother. Ben Menayin, how do you know a son inherits his mother? Amrit, so we say, Kal v'chomer. I have a very Kal v'chomer. It's obvious. Huma bas shehura koicha b'nichsei av. When a daughter versus a son, when it comes to the father's inheritance, the son takes precedence over the daughter. As we said before, when the father dies and he has a son and a daughter, the daughter doesn't take any inheritance. It just goes to the boy. So the girl is always at a disadvantage when it comes to the possessions of the father. Nevertheless, the Torah gave her a right to the possessions of her mother. So therefore, Ben, a son who has an advantage over a girl by the possessions of the father, certainly he should have an advantage and to be able to inherit from his mother. So the Gemara just said a logical inference that if a girl can inherit her mother, then certainly a boy who's more stronger when it comes to inheritance, certainly she can inherit her mother. So So and not only that, we're going to say like this: where are you learning this whole kal v'chomer from? That a boy, what makes a boy stronger is because we see that a boy is stronger when it comes to the possessions of the father. That he becomes the only inheritor, even if there's a sister. So therefore, malahalan, just like when it comes to inheriting the father, ben koidim labas, the son takes the entire inheritance in front of the daughter. Avkan ben koidim labas. So also when it comes to the mother, the son moves to the head of the line. In other words, the pasuk only said that the daughter inherits the mother, but because of a kal v'chaymer, we're going to say that not only could the son inherit, but if there's a son and a daughter, and the mother dies, the son will inherit, and the daughter will not inherit anything. That is the opinion of the Tanakama. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Yossi, Amram Shum, Rabbi Schaya ben Hakatzev. This Rabbi Schaya ben Hakatzev, interesting name. Maybe his father was a butcher because the word Katzev is a butcher. Anyway, he was a big Tana, and Rabbi Schaya has this opinion that no, that Echad ben ve'Echad bas shavim b'nixeim. When the mother dies, then the boy and the girl split the assets. Where the father dies, it all goes to the son. But when the mother dies, they split. That's Rabbi Scharia's opinion. My Tama, what's the reason of the Rabbi Scharia's opinion? You don't want to make the wherever you learn more the stricter than where you're learning it from. The fact is that you're learning a kal v'chomer that a son could inherit the mother. It's not really clear in the pasuk, so don't take it to the extreme. You don't take it to the extreme and go more than much more than what you learned it out. To say that now that the son, takes a step in front of the daughter when it comes to the possessions of the mother, because wherever you're learning it out, it should be like the thing that you're learning it out from. Just like the son has inheritance by the father and has rights, so also the daughter who has inheritance by the mother should also have rights, and they split it equally. Says the Gemara, the Tanakama lo darish daya. The Tanakama would not darshan this idea of daya, that if you learn the kal v'chomer, don't take it to the extremes. Daya daraisahi. Daya is a daraisa, because we see kal v'chomer is that when you learn something out, you don't go over and above. Once the kal v'chomer teaches you one idea, don't take it to the next step. The Tanya, we learned to the Braisa, Midin Kal V'chomer, Ketzad. From Kal V'chomer, look at the Chumash, the way the Chumash describes a Kal V'chomer. The Torah tells us that Miriam slipped up and spoke Lashon Hara against Moshe. So she's supposed to get leprosy. Now, so the pasuk says, if your father gets angry, you're supposed to be in quarantine for 7 days. Kal V'chomer, certainly, L'shchina, God is angry at Miriam, so therefore she should now be in quarantine also for 14 days, not 17 days. So that was so why was Miriam only in quarantine for 7 days? God was angry with her, and therefore, if it was just her father angry with her, she should be in quarantine for 7 days. If God's angry with her, she should be in quarantine for 14 days. But again, since it's all kal v'chomer, you don't want to take the kal v'chomer to one step above the teacher. The teacher is the father. The father is only a 7-day quarantine. So also when God is angry at her, it's only a 7-day quarantine. So the question over here is, the fact that you learned that a son inherits a mother's possessions is from a kal v'chomer. So don't take it to the extreme to say, oh, now that we know that the son inherits the mother's possessions from a kal v'chomer, you're going to say now the son is even stronger than the daughter, and therefore when there's a daughter and a son, you only give it to the son. That's Rabbi Zechariah's opinion. So the Gemara says the Tanakama has another pasuk, but Alma Darsh Dayet. Really, the Tanakama would agree to Rabbi Zechariah. That's a good idea. There's a hekesh. The hekesh teaches you an idea. The Kal V'chomer teaches you that a son inherits the mother's possession. But there's a hekesh that says makish mate aim mate av, that you compare the shevet of the mother to the shevet of the father. When it comes to the possessions of the father, bein koydem labas, the son is in front of the daughter. When it comes to the possessions of the mother, bein koydem labas, the son takes precedence of the daughter. So if a mother dies and there's a son and a girl, you give all the Yerusha to the son. So we have a machloikis because Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev held that by a mother's possessions, you actually split it between the boy and the girl. Says the Gemara. So who's the halacha like? So the Gemara says Rab Nitai Sovel Mevet Uvdik Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev. Rab Zechariah wanted a Rab Nitai wanted a paskin like Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev, that when a mother dies, you split the assets between the boy and the girl. Amalei Shmuel says, "Come on, Zechariah, you paskin like Zechariah? After Zechariah, Zechariah is gone. We don't paskin like Rab Zechariah. You only give it to the boy." Rav Tavla Ovid Uvdik Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev. Rav Tavla also wanted a paskin like Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev. Amalei Rav Nachman. So Rav Nachman says, "My hi, what's going on over here?" Amalei. So Rav Tavla said, "The Amar Rav Chinina Bashlemya Mishmei the Rav." It was said in the name of Rav, halacha Rabbi Zechariah ben Akatzev. The halacha is like Rabbi Zechariah ben Akatzev, that when the mother dies, you split the inheritance between the son and the sister, the boy and the girl. Amalei. So Rabbi Nachman said, Zil hadabach, go retract your psak. That's not really. V'iloi mapkini lech Rav Chinin bashlemim inach. I'm going to put Rab Shechinin take Rab Chinin bar Shlemya from your arsenal. In other words, you're relying on Rab Chinin ben Shlemya saying over in the name of Rav. I'm going to put him in Cherem because that's not what Rav said. Rav did not paskel like Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev, and Rab Chinina is misquoting Rav. The halacha is like the Tanakama, that the son, comes before the daughter when it comes to Yerusha. So again, Rav Huna bar Chia, the Gemara says another story, the third story. So Rav Huna bar Chia, Rav Huna, the son of Chia, wanted a paskin like Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev. Amalei Rav Nachman, so Rav Nachman says, "My hi, why are you paskining like Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev?" Amalei, so Rav Huna bar Chia says, "I have another Rav Huna who said in the name of Rav, the Talmud of Rav, who's also by the name of Huna. He said, the Amar of Huna Amar Rav, halacha Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev. That halacha is like Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev." So that's what he wanted to do. So the Gemara says, Rav Nachman said to him, Amalei, Ashlachle, I'm going to send a message to Rav Huna and ask him, did Rav really say that the halacha is like Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev? So Rav Huna bar Chia got embarrassed because maybe he misquoted the Talmud of Rav, and that Rav Huna never said that Rav said that the halacha is like Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev. Amalei. So Rav Nachman said, "Hashtaki nach nafshi de Rav." If Rav Huna would have passed away, is risat lekivle, would you have held on to your position? You would have held on to. You would have been brazen enough to hold on to the position, because now I can't really verify from Rav Huna if Rav indeed said that Loch is Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev. The only reason why you're retracting is because Rav Huna is alive, and I could send him a letter. I could send Rav Huna a letter. Did you say in the name of Rav that the halacha is Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev? So basically, Rav Nachman was very confident that the halacha is not like Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev, and Rav is being misquoted as saying that the halacha is like Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev. So the Gemara says, "V'yu command severely, command savra." Who did exactly Rav Nachman hold? Like he was confident. The Amar Rav and Shmuel, the Amri Tavayah, both Rav and Shmuel agreed. They usually argued with each other, but they agreed on this idea. When a mother dies, Ein halacha Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev. The halacha is not like Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev. You actually give the entire inheritance to the son, even if there's a daughter, even if there's a sister involved here. You don't give any inheritance to the daughter. You give it only to the son, and that remains the halacha. That remains the halacha, not like Rab Zechariah ben Akatzev, who said you split it. Says the Gemara. Now the Gemara says another story. Mistamech also Rab Yaneh Akisve the Rab Samlai Shamoy. Rav Ayane was limping along. He was blind, and he was holding on to the shoulder of Rab Simlai, his attendant, and walking. V'as Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya Lapei, and this Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya, who's an Amor, another not the Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, but he was an Amora, who was walking towards them. So Amalei, so the attendant told Rabbi Yaneh, you should know, Bar Enesh de Asar Kivna, there's a nice man coming in front of us. He's a nice looking man, and his cloak is nice. In other words, he was indicating that the person coming to you is a big Talmud Chacham. And therefore, a Talmud Chacham has nice clothing. A Talmud Chacham has to be careful on what he wears and make a good impression. So Rabbi Yaneh, who's blind, met up with this person. The Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya, Kimot Lagabe, when he came to him, Geshasha, he touched him, he felt him, and he wasn't too impressed with his suit. Amalei Dain Shira Kasak. This type of clothing is like a sack. In other words, I don't know. I would think that he's basically saying your suit is cheap, as cheap suit. So I think what he meant to say is like this: that he felt in the Shechina, the energy of Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya was a very holy energy, and he felt that based on the holy energy that he's feeling, that this Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya is indeed a big Talmud Chacham, and the cloak that he's wearing is too cheap for his stature of Talmidei Chachamim. He's supposed to wear a higher, more expensive suit. Anyway, so this Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya asked Rabbi Yanai a question. So he asked Rabbi Yanai a question. How do I know that when it is a boy and a girl and the mother died, how do you know the son takes the entire inheritance? How do you know that? Amalei, so Rabbi Yanai said, Diksiv, we have a hekish. Mates bakash mate'ein lamate'av. Ma mate'av bein koidel bas, af mate'ein bein koidel bas. This is the hekish that says that when, just like when a father dies, the son takes over the inheritance before the daughter. So also when the mother dies, the son takes the inheritance, even if there's a sister or daughter involved. Amalei. So Rabbi Yanai, so this Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya asked another question. If you have a hekish, when a father dies, and there are two boys, or there's a bachar, so then the bachar takes pishnayim. When a mother dies and there's a bachar, right? The bachar does not take pishnayim, doesn't take double. But if you compare the way the father dies, all the halachas that apply when the father dies to when the mother dies, so then the halacha should be that a bachar should take pishnayim, should take double when his mother dies. That's the question. If you're holding of this hekesh, this juxtaposition, just like when the father dies, b'char neitel pishnayim, the b'char takes double. Af mate'eim. So when the mother dies, b'char neitel pishnayim. That means that the mother should be taking, that the son, the b'char, should take pishnayim when his mother dies. And the truth is, it's not so. When a mother dies and there's two boys, they split the assets. It doesn't mean that the b'char takes pishnayim. It's only when the father dies and it's his assets that the b'char takes pishnayim. The question is why. So this was the question this Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya asked this blind Rabbi Yanai. So the Gemara says, Amalei l'shamei. So Rabbi Yanai said to his shamis, good, let's get out of here. Just take me out of this place. This guy's trying to annoy me with these easy questions. So the Gemara felt, that's it. But time am I. But why is it such an easy question? What's the reason why? So answers the Gemara, Amar Abaye. So Abaye said, when you look at the pasuk that describes when a bechor takes pishnayim, Amakra, the pasuk says bechoil ashi motzei. That means that whatever belongs to him, whatever belongs to a man, the bechor takes pishnayim. So it must mean loy v'loy la. Only what belongs to the man. When a boy inherits his father and he's a bechor, he takes pishnayim, but not when he inherits her. When he inherits his mother. Says the Gemara of Ve'ema, Harimili, I would think, Bachar Shenosa Almona, the reason why a Bachar doesn't take Pishnayim is because he's not a true Bachar. Maybe the Pasuk is saying, let's say the father was an unmarried person, and he married somebody, a lady who had children. And therefore, she had children from a different marriage, and she had this boy. So therefore, when his mother died, when the almana died, so this bechor does not take pishnayim because he is not her first bechor. Let's say an unmarried boy married an unmarried girl, regular case. So then, when the mother dies, I would think hachinami deshakal, would the boy take pishnayim from his mother's assets because he's the bechor from his father and bechor from his mother. How do you know that even in that case, the Bechar does not take Pishnayim? Rab Yitzchak said, Amakra, the Pasuk says like this, Reishis Oinai. The reason why a Bechar takes Pishnayim, because it could have said Reishis Oinai. This was the first of his power, the first of his relations with a woman. So therefore, he takes Pishnayim. He's the result of the, now Pasuk could have said Reishis Oin, that he's the first of his power, of the power that comes out of a man. That's oinoi v'loy oinoi. So the pasuk gave you an extra vav there to say that no, that only if he is the only reason where he will take Pishnayim if he is the first of he's the Bechar to his father. He's the actual firstborn to his father, but not if it's the actual firstborn to his mother. Then he does not take Pishnayim. So that's the clear. Oinoi, only if it's his firstborn, his Bechar, but not if it's her firstborn. So we see a Bechar to a mother will not take Pishnayim. First, the Gemara says, wait a second. I need Rashis Oinoi to teach you another idea. That somebody who comes after the woman miscarriage, maybe there's another idea learned from Rashis Oinai, that a person who's born after his mother miscarried, that he's still a Bechar. Because the only time you're not a Bechar is if the mother had like a 2-year-old and that died, then the second child is not a Bechar. Because Misha Libi Dava Olav, only if your mother was worried about the other child that died. Yotzazeh ain't Libi Dava Olav. But if the woman miscarried, so the woman, the father is not distraught over that loss. So then the child that's born after a miscarriage is considered the Bechar. So that you learn from Rashis Oinai. So how do I know from Rashis Oinai to teach you the other idea that a Bechar from a mother's side does not take Pishnayim? So the Gemara says, "In Kain Lema Kra, the pasuk Saseki, who Rashis Oin, my Oinai Shma Minotarti." You learn out two ideas. One idea you learn from this pasuk is that a Bechar could still be called a Bechar if his mother miscarried, as long as he's the first normal child after that. And it's also you learn that Oinoi, you only take Pishnayim only from your father's side, but not from your mother's assets. Says the Gemara Vakati, maybe I'll say, Ema, when don't you take from your mother's assets Pishnayim? It's her firstborn because he was a widower and he married a girl that was never married. But let's say it's a regular marriage. A bacha married a basula. Hachinamid shakal. Maybe the boy of the Bechar, he's the Bechar for the mother and a Bechar for the father. In that case, you take Pishnayim, whether it's from the father's assets or from the mother's assets. But how do you know? In that case, also, the Bechar does not take Pishnayim. So Rava said like this: Amakra loy mishpat habechayra. Only to him you get mishpat bechayra. Mishpat habechayra leish. The dinim of bechayra of Pishnayim only is if your father dies. But not if your mother dies. If your mother dies, then the Bechar does not take Pishnayim. He splits it evenly with his brothers. Nevertheless, like I said, but when it comes to a boy and a girl, then the girl is not considered, we paskin like the Tanakama, that the girl is not considered anything. The son takes precedence over the entire inheritance. Then the Mishnah, we'll just end off another minute. The Ish Ais Ishtoi. A man inherits his wife. How do you know that? How do you know a man inherits his wife? Maybe the assets of his wife will go directly to the children, or maybe go back to her father. The Torah says that when a man dies, so the Torah Rabbanan, she'eroi zu ishtoi, that's his wife. That teaches you shehabal yarish ishtoi, that the husband inherits his wife. Yochel af hi tirishenu. I would think that the husband inherits his wife, and when a husband inherits his wife, how do you know that maybe that the wife inherits the husband? In other words, when he dies, the assets don't go to the children; it goes to her. Tamad loyma v'yarish oisa. Only he inherits her. Who yarish oisa? He yarish oisai. He inherits her, and she doesn't inherit him. So when he dies, the assets go to the children. It doesn't go to her. Says the Gemara, but you're just trying to tell me that that she doesn't get inheritance from him. But if you look at the pasuk itself, it says when a man dies, v'nusata es nachlasoi, you should give his assets l'she'eroi to his wife. And you just translated hakarevei love that you give it to his wife. She'eroi is his wife. So that's what v'hakroi lav hachiksiv. The pasuk doesn't seem to say that. The pasuk seems to say that when a man dies, you give the assets to the wife. Amar Abaya said tritzachi. You have to read the pasuk. You have to slice the pasuk and take the pasuk and mix it up. And you read the pasuk as if it said this way: Satan es nachlasoi lekarvelim. You give a man's assets to his closest relative, which is his son, and you put a thing she'eroi v'yarashasai. But when it comes to his wife, you inherit her. So that's how you read the pasuk, even though the pasuk doesn't say that. But you slice up the pasuk and you take out a word and put it somewhere else. So Amar Bava, Rava said, how could you do that to a pasuk? Sakina charifa, you take a sharp knife, mafseke kroy, and you slice up the pasuk. That's not the way to darshan a pasuk. El Amar Rava says, hachi comment. This is how you read the pasuk. It says, unasatem estachlosoi lishe'eroi hakarev elov. Lishe'eroi hakarev elov. So so you read it like this, a very funny way. Satem es nachlas. You don't say nachlosoi. You take the vav from nachlosoi. You slice out a vav, and lisha eroi. You take the lamed from the lisha eroi, and you make a word loy. So you're not adding a word. You're just reading the pasuk better. Satem nachlas she'eroi. You give the inheritance of your wife loy to the husband. Kesava Rava felt that goyrin you could cut umaisifin and add a word in the pasuk by slicing letters from different words in the pasuk, forming another word and adding that to the pasuk, v'darshan, and you can darshan the pasuk because that's another way to darshan the pasuk. But the bottom line is that the Gemara's conclusion is that a man, when he dies, his inheritance goes to his children, not to his wife. When a wife dies, the inheritance goes to himself. That's what we'll continue more on this topic tomorrow. Be'ez Hashem.